Louis Vuitton. We have so many fragrances from the brand, and lately I've been on a roll because my friend Chris from the channel Casual Fragrances let me borrow like 3 of his Louis Vuitton fragrances. Here we have Sur La Rue. This one is a grassy, earthy, slightly resinous citrus fragrance. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance from this designer giant, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Sur La Rue by Louis Vuitton, I'll tell you about the smell, the notes, the performance, longevity, how it worked on my skin, comparisons, so on and so forth. But I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, reviews on brand new fragrances, top 10 fragrances videos, so on and so forth, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really, really mean a lot to me. Chris, thank you so much for lending me this bottle for review. I really appreciate you. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to ship the package back to you very soon, I promise. Sur La Rue. I looked up the note breakdown. Look, this has grass. It has a ton of citrus. There's like bergamot, Calabrian bergamot. The perfumer is Jacques Caballé. He's done fragrances for Bulgari. He's done tons of fragrances for Louis Vuitton. If you've tried fragrances like Imagination, Le Mancy, Afternoon Swim, Pacific Chill, Meteor, you know he's a king of citrus. He does citrus so well. And in this fragrance, we also have cedarwood. I think there's a little bit of coriander or cardamom. There's a leather accord in the dry down. There's hedione molecule in the heart. So this one can actually go in a bit of a darker direction, perhaps even a little bit of patchouli in the base as well. So I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, let you know how I think it stacks up against other Louis Vuitton fragrances. And because of the fact that it's very base heavy with the, I think it's Peru balsam and the cedarwood and the patchouli and these other ingredients, is this one going to give you better longevity than other Louis Vuitton fragrances? So if you're in the market for something that's a bit longer lasting, maybe this is going to be that option for you. I'm excited to talk to you about all of these things. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation. So in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get a lot of citrus. Now, the citrus is not as bright and not as energizing as Pacific Chill. And I actually prefer the opening of Pacific Chill. So if you're looking for something really bright, zingy, zesty, I would go with Imagination, Afternoon Swim, or Pacific Chill before I go with this one. You know, there's just something about the opening of those other fragrances that is quite captivating, not so much in this fragrance. So I don't want to say I was let down or underwhelmed. Well, maybe a little underwhelmed, but that's because it comes on the heels of me enjoying those other fragrances so much. But okay, the magic of this fragrance is not in the opening. The citrus is there, sure, it opens up very nice, not as bright, not as vivid, not as vibrant, but there is something special in here. So you give this fragrance a chance to settle down on your skin. The hedione molecule comes through. Hedione is a really special ingredient. It is used to make the fragrance more diffusive, and it kind of breaks it apart a little bit, makes it a little more ethereal. And they also did a study in Germany where they said that it triggered the pleasure centers of the brain and it had a hormone-induced response. It's a really fascinating study. And this one has the hedione. It's a very pleasant, very addictive scent, if I'm being honest with you. But this one actually gets a bit darker. So it has the spices in here. They're not overwhelming. And even as far as the leather accord goes, a lot of times saffron is used in the synthesis of a leather accord, and I'm not getting that here. This is more, if anything, this is more of like a suede leather. You know, if leather were not listed in the note breakdown, I wouldn't have questioned it, because for me, when I smell this, I don't really smell leather. I smell the spices, I smell slight woods, I smell slight balsamic richness in the dry down, but it's really more of like a clean, citrusy, floral fragrance without having that abundance of citrus in the opening the way that you would get it in something like Pacific Chill. But here's the thing about this one that I think is going to cater to a lot of people's tastes and personal, things that they're looking for in a fragrance. It does last pretty long. I think Sur La Route with the cedarwood, the Peru balsam, the patchouli, the hedione, that leather accord, and a lot of these other ingredients that are happening in the dry down, this one is going to get you easily a few hours of longevity over other fragrances. Does this one last longer than Pacific Chill? Yes, it does. Does this one last longer than Imagination? Yes, it does. Some of these other Louis Vuitton fragrances are going to get you about 6 to 7 hours. This is going to get you about 8 to 9 hours. For some people, that might be negligible. For some people, that might actually be the crux or the catalyst that convinces them to purchase this over some other fragrances. I do think this one is a very nicely put together fragrance. I am going to be honest with you. I just don't think it's as captivating from the beginning as some of the other Louis Vuitton fragrances are. You smell City of Stars and you're like, wow, that's a lot of citrus. The tiare flower is gorgeous. You smell Pacific Chill, that basil mint citrus combination with the apricot is to die for. And even Meteor. Meteor, you have this smoothness. I know it gets compared to an Azzaro fragrance, but this one, you spray it and you're like, this is nice, but what's happening in here? And so that was my personal take with this fragrance. So it's really not my favorite that the brand has to offer. Do I think it's nice? Absolutely. Would I purchase a bottle? I think for reference, I probably would, but I don't see myself wearing this one as often as I would wear some other fragrances from the brand. But if you're looking for something a bit more on the soft and subtle side of things, and you really want to seek an option that is going to give you hours of longevity versus something that is going to have a very compelling introduction, then try Sur La Route by Louis Vuitton. Thanks again, Chris, for letting me borrow the bottle. I appreciate it. Guys, drop your comments down below. What is your favorite Louis Vuitton fragrance? Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I don't think this is anything special, to be honest. I think the overall smell is incredibly pleasant, but I just don't find it to be anything special. I think with the cedarwood and the Peru balsam and all these other ingredients that are in the dry down, I think it is going to give you the longevity that you might be looking for. So that brings us to the next category, longevity. 8 to 9 hours. Projection was okay. For the first hour of application, it radiated within an arm's length. Not as loud of a projector as Pacific Chill or Imagination or Afternoon Swim, but it does decent. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 6.5, a skin scent right around hour 8 or 9. Versatility, perfectly unisex, great for the hotter weather, great formal or casual, although I would probably wear this more on the casual side of things, if I'm being honest, just because it's not super loud as far as the projection goes. And when you wear a suit and tie or a really elegant dress, it's because you want to be seen. And if you're going to wear a fragrance at a formal occasion, it's because you want to be smelled. And this one, with it not being as loud of a performer, I might go with something like City of Stars or something. But perfectly unisex, like I said, great for the hotter weather. I think this one will appeal to the tastes of anybody of any age. And as far as the presentation is concerned, the name is cool. The all-white aesthetic, I guess, conveys purity and elegance. My final verdict on this fragrance is, I think it's a solid fragrance. It is not my favorite. The opening could be a little underwhelming, especially if you're familiar with fragrances like Imagination or even Pacific Chill. I think you'll notice that it's not as loud, it's not as boisterous or rambunctious in the opening. But nevertheless, I think the longevity is there and it settles down to something really nice. So if you have the opportunity to try this one, please do. Thanks again so much for watching. That was my review of Sur La Route by Louis Vuitton. If you own or have tried this fragrance or any fragrance from the brand, drop your comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you have a favorite? And also thanks again, Chris, for letting me borrow your bottle. I will ship this package right back to you. If you took something of value from today's episode, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you again so much for watching today. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video.